everyone. It's Director Doug once again, and today we have a guest in studio who you will get to meet and get to know a little better. It's the actress that plays Mabel Peabody. And Mabel Peabody is played by Mary Phillips. So Steve and Jean are going to interview her and find out all about what makes her tick. Go ahead, guys.
Thanks, Director Doug. Well, Mary, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you have a pretty special connection here to Discovery Mountain, don't you?
Yeah, kind of.
Tell us about it.
Steve is my husband, so he plays many voices, but most know him for Peabody.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well,
married in Discovery Mountain, married in real life.
Exactly.
Yes.
Makes it more...
It makes it more organic.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's always fun to have you in the studio, Mary. And I'm going to let Steve toss you the first tough question.
Okay.
So the first tough one, which I already know, is what is your regular job?
Well, my regular job is, of course, I'm a mom, for one. But outside of that, I am a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor.
So what kind of got you interested in doing personal training and teaching fitness, Mary?
It's something I'm very passionate about. I actually started with working with a personal trainer about 11 years ago, and I actually weighed over 300 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So working with him, I lost about 100 pounds, and then after that, I lost another 75. So I've lost 175 pounds. And
wow, that's
amazing.
that's amazing.
Thank you. And it just made such a difference in my life. I mean, even things as simple as riding a bike, I couldn't do that before, or walking up a flight of stairs. And so with that, I wanted to just be able to help other people the way he helped me in the beginning.
Wow. That's like a whole person that you lost.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we might have to maybe create a storyline in Discovery Mountain where you could share that passion somehow, maybe with our listeners. I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
Yep, that's in your court.
Well, here's another question for you, Mary. In what way are you the same or the opposite of Mabel Peabody, who you play in the program?
Well, it's funny. I had to ask Steve about this one because I was like, I'm not sure how I'm very different than Mabel because she likes to bake. I do like to bake. I'm more of, I know she baked biscuits at one point. So I like to do those type of things. I kind of stay away from the cookies and things like that. But also she's a mom, and I think that's where I resonate the most is being a mom and two boys. So in the show, I have a son. And then also just the fact that when something is wrong with another, like there's a misunderstanding, she wants to settle that. And that's just the same type of personality I have. So I haven't found the opposites. I'm sure in the future there'll be something opposite, but.
Great. Thank you.
So what is your favorite food?
Well, I love chocolate.
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And yeah, I just love chocolate. But I've learned over the years the best way to prepare chocolate so that it's a healthier instead of just going to get a chocolate bar or chocolate ice cream, which sometimes I get those too. But I have like a recipe I love and my boys love that is I take summer squash and I turn it into chocolate pudding.
Really?
And literally
I've had that.
I've have, haven't you, Doug?
Yes.
How was it?
Yep. It was fantastic. It
Yeah.
really was very, very good.
I'm
that's-
intrigued.
Yes, that's just something that I've learned over the years is how to still enjoy the foods that we do like, but in a healthy version. With having treats here and there.
I might have to get that recipe from you. I'm very curious now.
It's super, super easy. I even posted a video on Facebook on how to prepare it. It's super simple. You can do it.
I think people overlook how tasty living healthy and having a healthy diet can be, and how much difference it makes into how you feel every day.
Yes, it has everything with mental state, physical state. I mean, everything it plays such a big role.
Very true. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Mary, do you have a favorite Bible verse you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, this one was a little hard because there's so many. But I kind of settled on Ephesians 4:32.
Okay.
With that, it's be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. And I kind of just chose that verse just because God has forgiven me in so many ways. I mean, I have sinned. I mean, I still sin. We always do. But it's just knowing that God forgave me, and how do I have any right to be hard on somebody else or not forgive them? And I believe that sometimes it's hard to not forgive people for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember that God has forgiven me for my shortcomings, then how can I hold a grudge against somebody else?
That's beautiful. I think it really does give us empathy, doesn't it, for other people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
It's quite funny because I actually wanted to be a zoologist.
Oh, I love
Which
it.
is way different than what I have. But I actually wanted
Being a parent is kind of like
Oh,
taking
yeah.
care of
To
zoo animals
boys,
sometimes, isn't it?
I definitely have a monkey and probably like a lion. So, yeah.
Yeah, been there too.
Yeah, 2 boys. So they could be different each day. But yeah, I wanted to. And then I volunteered at a veterinarian hospital when I was about 12 years old. And I realized I couldn't handle the really what they do, not just the playing with the animals, but I couldn't handle some of that, so I kind of changed paths.
Yeah, I think our youngest daughter, when she was very little, she's always loved animals and she wanted to be a vet. And she had a similar experience right around age 12 where she realized, oh, I'd have to see the animals in pain and, all those practical parts of it. So, yeah, understood. So you are still an animal lover. I know that much about you. Tell us about your pets.
So we have 1 cat, which is getting up there in her age. But everybody at Voice Prophecy knows her.
We see her on Zoom calls with Steve. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she's my buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be Myra. And then we have a beagle, which her name is Piper. And she is definitely another child all over the place and hyper. She's 5.
Sweet.
So, what do you like to do when you have free time?
Biggest thing, I do like to exercise, like just my own, where I'm not teaching somebody else or teaching a class. But also, I just love to get into the mountains. Ever since we've moved here to Colorado, I mean, every chance I get, I go and hike something, or I like to try to conquer some mountains, like get to the top of summits and things like that. So anything to do in God's nature.
Well, what's one of the mountains that you've climbed since you've been here?
Mount Meeker
Wow.
is one of them.
And that, Mary, that's what we call in Colorado lingo a 14er, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were supposed to do Long's Peak in September, but we ended up not getting to do that with all the smoke and stuff we were having here. We just chose
Right.
to forgo it. We could have safely done it at that time, but we wouldn't have gotten the payoff of a view at the top. So honestly, I didn't want to do the work and not even be able to see the mountains because they were covered in smoke. So
So, Steve, do you go along on some of these big adventure hikes?
Not the ones where she climbs the 14ers. I have no ambition for that because I'm afraid of heights.
I was going to say he's afraid of heights. So
I have a hard time getting on a ladder up to my roof.
Oh.
So yeah, it's
and these things kind of have ledges and boulders and things like that you have to hike on. So
It's not like it's a well-groomed trail all the way
No.
up to 14,000 feet.
But
That's for sure.
he does come on all the hikes with
Yes.
us, though. Like the family does lots of hiking. And
Very fun. Fun. All right, Mary, one last question for you. If Discovery Mountain were a real place and you could visit, what would you most like to do?
well, it's funny because it kind of lines up with what I was just talking about. I would like to go to Trekkers and get my hiking gear and then go find what, because it's still the mountains.
That's true.
That's right.
I would love to see what was all around Discovery Mountain.
Oh, and maybe climb up to Lookout Ledge and have the
Yes.
view of what the town looks like and all the surrounding peaks. I would love to do that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, Mary, it's been fun having you in studio here with us. Any final questions or thoughts for Mary while you have her on the hot seat, Steve?
I don't think so.
Okay, you're a good husband.
He can just pepper her with questions when he gets home.
There you go.
Steve knows most of the answers. We've been together 17 years, so.
No secrets at this point.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, it's always fun having you in the studio. You bring a lot of laughter and a lot of energy to everything that you do, and we really appreciate you sharing your time and your voice talents with us when you're here with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, those of you listening at home, I hope that you enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about the person behind the voice of Mabel Peabody. And Mary shared with us her favorite Bible verse, or one of them, and I want to share that with you now as we close. It's Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 32, and it says, "And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you." That's a beautiful promise and a beautiful reminder of how we can exercise our faith in how we talk to one another and how we treat one another. So thanks for listening to this mini adventure. We'll see you here next time.